my topic which interests me very much is how initiation works. Originally, I was working on the opioid model of initiation. It was 20 years ago. Essentially, that made me make friends with Michael Winkelmann, and he pointed towards Louis Luna. So that was the way I found ayahuasca. So in initiation, what is very puzzling that the child, early teenagers, enter the ceremony, and within a couple of days or sometimes after 1 week, an adult comes out. Child goes in, adult comes out. So what's happening, It's puzzling. And I try to conceptualize that probably initiation involves a very effective deconditioning component, and this is what they call the symbolic death, and probably involves a very effective psycho-reintegration, and this is what anthropologists call the spiritual rebirth. I'm not saying that every tribal culture uses hallucinogens, but in many, many instances you can see that hallucinogens are applied in both phases. And that hallucinogens are or can be called deconditioning agents. I realized when in Gainesville, very close to Miami and very close to Eric Taub, who does ibogaine treatment of heroin addiction. I had a couple of patients who explained to me, Doc, it was not only heroin I stopped using. I stopped smoking and I stopped jogging. And then it clicked into my mind that probably this is what ibogaine and probably all other hallucinogens can do, deconditioning ingrained behavioral patterns. But this is only one part of the story. Because if you use it in a very well-built setting, a setting which is governed by traditional culture, as in tribal societies do, it can be used, hallucinogens can be used in the psychointegration process, when they can build values in. And if you study initiation, in the last phase, this is happening. And probably this explains that why many in our society are very scared of hallucinogens, because they can only see the deconditioning part, because our society doesn't have the channeled, traditionally governed way of using hallucinogens in a psychointegrative way. So sometimes I would say probably it's a more appropriate to call hallucinogens as deconditioning agents, but of course this is just one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, what Michael Winkelmann calls psychointegration. But I think this two-sided explanation explains why probably many of the academic field, they don't accept well Winkelmann's concept of psychointegration, because they don't see that. They can see only the deconditioning aspect.